Hi, everyone. We have a wonderful guest today, Dr. Rita Eichenstein, who is a very dear friend and fascinating friend, actually, colleague, who I've invited to talk about the parent brain, which is not something that we discuss much and should. So, Rita, take it away. And I know you have a little bit of an overview, and then I have some questions for you.
Great. First of all, thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Talking about the parent brain and how parent brains actually change throughout the parenting journey is such an important and affirming conversation. And it's one of my passions because understanding that your brain is wired to change and how it changes is a powerful form of self-compassion, understanding what's going on with your brain. And it should help parents feel more grounded, validated, and supported. Becoming a parent is not just a lifestyle change, it's a distinct phase of human development. It's unlike anything that comes before it, and it's unlike anything that other adults go through. That so the whether the adult who is non-child caring has a completely different brain than the parent. And it runs parallel to adulthood, but it operates on its own track.
Wow.
It transforms your brain, your hormones, your emotions.
Wow.
And it's really important to understand that whether it's through biological birth, adoption, or any caregiving path, the journey of parenting from that first spark of baby fever all the way through grandparenting
Mm,
literally reshapes the brain itself.
wow.
We,
I know this from the inside. I know that some parents will say they have a baby and then they have a foggy brain or they can't think as clearly, and there's that aspect of it. But I know for me, as the parent of a kid in his very competent, on his own, married, doing well, like that's still in me. Are they okay? Did somebody get sick? And certainly it's different than when I had a baby or a toddler or a young child,
yes,
but it's permanent, isn't it? That
well,
once,
it's proven.
yeah,
It's now proven. I shouldn't say absolute proof because the longevity studies aren't done yet,
okay.
but it is strongly hypothesized that the changes that happen in our brains as parents are permanent. Now, I want you to know this is an upgrade. This is not a downgrade. It is absolutely an upgrade. And if we had time, I would take you through the stages of parenting and how it actually upgrades your brain, wires you for longevity. Hello, and allows you to have superpowers that other adults do not have.
Like, what are some of the superpowers?
Let's start with executive function, your priorities. Your priorities have completely changed. So, people who feel they're losing their mind, first of all, that could be from lack of sleep. So, we have to take lack of sleep out of it because that can wonk out anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
However, I want to point out that in medical school and residency, they purposely, it's getting better now, but they've purposely in the past had interns and residents on call for 48 hours at a time to get used to that capacity to manage being on call and manage emergencies. Our parent brain has that power in it that we are 24/7 on call. And while it seems exhausting at the time, it's actually wiring our brain for resilience and power. And it's proven we have those areas in the brain that are rewiring and reorganizing, and in all areas of the brain. So we can talk about the frontal lobe, the executive
Okay.
function section that is the CEO of our brain that helps us prioritize and organize and be fully functional.
Right.
Now, The person that's leaning on the water cooler at work that has nothing to do other than the job or the party afterwards. I don't mean to denigrate non-parented people. Compare that, and you will intuitively know that when I say it. Compare that to the parent of any gender who has to get the baby work stuff, clothes, the baby bottle, the all the equipment that child's going to need for the day, and all of their equipment into the car at once. You got the image? That's a superpower. And what
Well,
that means is even when you're older at work, you're the person that does not lean on the water cooler chatting.
it's
You're
true.
the person with priorities. You've got to get your job done and you know how to do a job because in parenthood, there's no quitting. And we'll talk about people who need support. That's a very important topic.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, parents do need support, which is why
Yes.
you, Susan, are doing the magnificent job you're doing. With this, we know. But the idea is that through all the pain and stress, joy and despair, your brain is in the process of upgrading, is a new concept.
That's
This is not,
awesome. So
and
this was never taught in traditional psycho preparation for psychotherapy. We weren't taught that there's the massive reconstruction or, as you say, upgrade of a parental brain. It's new territory that you're venturing out. How does this impact a parent today, someone listening today? Maybe it's validating something. What kinds of things might a parent take from our conversation just to start chewing on and thinking about? Oh, if it's true what Dr. Eichenstein said, that I actually have a modified brain, how can that impact how they see themselves or function in the world or function as a parent?
a very good question. I just questioned the word modified. I would say a brain that's on the journey of evolving into a super brain. Now, the external markers that parents are using to see if they're with it may or may not be valid. For
Ah,
example, I keep losing the car keys. I'm losing it. I have such fog. I lose my cell phone 100 times a day. Those are not necessarily markers for being on the job. The markers that are important is understanding your priorities have shifted. And in when you're simultaneously absent-mindedly putting down your keys somewhere random, your brain is thinking about something else. What is your brain thinking
ah,
about? Your brain is probably thinking about something to do with your child or a commitment and how to organize that into your brain
okay.
and how not to forget. So one of my favorite, I don't know how much time we have to
We
go
have
through.
another 5 minutes.
Okay. So one of my favorite change points or pain points, if you will, is the toddler to childhood page where a pain point where I call it the disappearing phase. So the world says to you, what, you're not back to normal yet? Time to go back to work, time to get your body back, time to go on that retreat with your corporation this weekend. Like, why not? Your kids are like in school already. And parents wear an invisibility cloak where they have to mask who they are
Mm,
in the outside world. And it's such a loss because this is exactly where neuroplasticity, where the evolution of your brain is peaking. Your brain is learning to operate under stress, to multitask, prioritize, and empathize, and to pretend that none of that's going on in the outside
mm,
world because no one's respecting it, because no one ever in the 150 years of the topic called psychology since Freud and onward, no one ever identified parenthood in all its glory and all its potential. even the feminist psychologists missed it. And we missed it in favor of broadening the category of adulthood. But we now know through brain imaging and brain research that's only come out in the last decade or so that there are distinct stages, and we are wired for adaptive growth, and it's a long arc. And each arc has its special ways that creates the energy, the power, the resilience, and the empathy. These are like, and the prioritization that actually wires you for better longevity than people who have not had these challenges.
So, what's something as we wrap up that a parent could take and apply to their parenting life or just to their life in general that would an insight or even a practice to understand, yes, your brain is actually different now that you're a parent?
So the biggest insight I think I would recommend is I want you to trust your brain, because parenting as a distinct phase isn't understood well and honored. Right now, all we have is to trust ourselves that our brain is actually working just fine. There
Oh,
are, yeah. However, I do want to add that this can possibly be a public health problem because there was no therapy that is designed so far. I'm
wow.
working on it to design a therapy that supports and helps parents create insight and self-care and understand how your brain is the highest form of human evolution, but you're getting there. You're going to learn
Beautiful.
to love without controlling and judging the parent
Okay.
brain. So cut the
That's
judgment,
right.
embrace the love, trust
Right.
your brain.
Ah,
You're in a beautiful process.
so cool. I love that that to reframe it as an upgrade.
It's
All right.
definitely an upgrade. Yeah.
Rita, thank you for, I know that you have been diving into this, the research and the writing that you've been doing. This has become your heart's work. And even though we may just barely understand it, I know that, we've only had a short time. I know that the depth of what you've discovered and what you're articulating is really valuable to every parent. So thank you for showing up and joining me for,
Thank you so much. It is a
I,
passion project, and you can
yeah.
find me, my page on Facebook, Dr. Rita Eichenstein. I do post periodically insights into the parent brain.
Okay, it's Dr. Rita Eichenstein. Will you spell it?
Yes, Eichenstein.
All right.
Or you can go to my website, drritaeichenstein.com.
Thanks, Rita. Thanks you. All the best. Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.